In this video, we are going to be making the Labyrinth quilt. We're doing the lap sized, which is just these in here. If you can see, 1 and 2 is the star, and then 3 and 4. We're just doing the lap size. We're not going to do the full king size. Let me show you the fabrics. So as you can see on the fabric requirements for the lap size, we're doing quarter yard, half yard. This is technically a half yard. I did the measurements and I can make it work with a half yard. So we're going to do 2 fat quarters, 2 half yards. We're not doing the large diamonds. And then first border, outside border. These are the fabric requirements. So here are the fabrics that I have that I'm going to be using for the star inside and the first 2 braids. And here are the colors for the borders. And then just solid white for the background. So what I need to work out for my fabrics is which of these are going to be the star and which of them are going to be the braid around the border of the star. So let me look at the requirements. It says for the center star, I need fat quarters. It says quarter yard, but I measured it and I can use fat quarters. I have half yard cuts here. So I'm going to cut the 2 that I'm going to make into the star into fat quarters and then cut up the fat quarters into the requirements for the star. And then for the small diamond and small square, I guess that's what they're calling them. They're not calling them braids. They're calling them diamonds and squares. I need a half yard of each, which I have half yard cuts. So now I just need to decide which 2 I'm going to put together. And that's always the hardest part. It's like, how are we actually going to put these colors together? So I have blues and purples. I think I kind of want to do the 2 bright ones together and the 2 darker ones together. But then who's going to be the star and who's going to be... I'm just going to call it a braid because it kind of does this. There's only 2, but we get it. We get it. Okay, let's see. But these ones look kind of cool together because they kind of have like meandering patterns. Okay, you know what? I'm doing these 2 together and these 2 together because these 2 kind of have like meandering patterns together and these 2 are both floral. But who's going to be the star? I think because I'm doing such a bright blue for the first border, I think I'm going to do the bright blue for the star in the center and then use the darker ones to braid through. Again, braid. Maybe I should just call them squares. I don't know. It's all going to come together. If you're not seeing the vision, it's going to come together. I'll do these ones and then the first border is going to be this bright blue and then the outer border is going to be the purple. Okay, it's settled. Let's cut. Something I recently got is this ironing mat because I do not have an ironing board, but I have this nice big cutting table that would be really great if it could double as an ironing table. So I got this. The dream is to have a thing like Donna Jordan. Don't even get me started. The ironing board that she has is just amazing. Like, that's the dream. Honestly, Donna is just goals all around. But anyways, I bought this from Walmart. And supposedly it has 450 degrees of heat protection. I don't know how hot my iron gets. My arm would say at least 1,000,000. I'm just going to throw a little best press on here while I'm ironing, while I'm pressing it open or pressing the seams out. Just because I find that I really like best press. I use the Mary Ellen's best press. There's another one that I saw on Amazon recently that I thought might be good too that I'll give a try maybe when I run out of this one. But I really like it. I think that it makes my cuts a lot straighter. It makes my corners a lot crisper. I like it. I like it. Just a little spritz. I have no idea if I use enough or too much. I don't know. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and press all these. Best press them and get them cut. Okay, an update on the ironing mat. It's definitely warping my thing, so we're not going to be ironing on here. No fucking way. I'm not risking this thing. This was not too expensive, but like this cutting table is currently my pride and joy, and I will not be fucking it up. Now, obviously, I can't tell you all of the actual measurements because this is not a pattern that's for free on the internet, and I'm not giving it away for free on the internet. But just know that this is a fat quarter, and I'm cutting up my fat quarter. So I have all my things cut. Now I just have to make no less than 4 million half square triangles. All of these need to turn into half square triangles. The pattern tells me how many I need to make. So I need to like make 2 of these and 2 of these and 3 of those. And so I'm just gonna lay them out how I need to make them. And then I'm gonna make them all, trim them all. And then once the half square triangles are put together, we assemble this quilt. I think that this is gonna come together very quickly. See, that's the thing about quilts that are lap sized or baby sized. Snappy, they're snappy. Okay, so here are all my pairings. These are all gonna get turned into half square triangles, so let's do that. I'm not gonna mark them because I have tape on my sewing table. I have 1/4 inch tape on my sewing table, so I'm just gonna line this up with the 1/4 inch tape and call that good. So like I said, I have this 1/4 inch tape on my table. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up this corner with the left side of my 1/4 inch tape so that I'm sewing 1/4 inch away from the center. So I'm just gonna keep this lined up on there, and that is 1/4 inch away from the middle. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, keeping it lined up on the left side again. So now I have 2 lines stitched 1/4 inch away from the center on either side. So I'm just gonna do that a million more times, and then we'll trim them up. We'll use the Clearly Perfect, and then reassemble. Okay, they're all stitched together. Now I'm just gonna cut them in half along, like in between the 2 sewn lines, and then I'm gonna trim them up. I think I'm gonna use I don't have a Clearly Perfect, but I have a strip tube ruler, which is basically the same thing. So I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna trim them. They have to be a certain size square, and they all have to be the same, or else we're not gonna get the effect. We're not gonna get the illusion. So I'll just show you on what I'm gonna do and how I use this strip tube ruler. Again, I'm not giving the measurements away for free on the internet, but here's the idea. So I'm gonna cut along in between these 2 lines. I'm just gonna line up my ruler right in the middle. Use my rotary cutter, cut it into 2 pieces, and that will make a half square triangle. But I need this to be an exact size, and what this does is it has marks on it. See that? See those marks? So all I have to do is line it up with the size that I want. For example, this one would be 2.5 inches, and you line that up with the seam on there. So you would line that up on that dashed line, trim off the edges, and then you get the perfect square. So I'm just gonna do that. This one's already perfect. I don't have to trim it at all. I just have to trim off the dog ears, which I like to do before I press it open. Just makes my life a little bit easier. And I'm pressing towards the darker fabric, which in this case is the blue. And there's your square. So as you can see, I have all the strips put together and laid out on the table. Now what I need to do is take each row and press the seams in alternating directions so that when I go to put the rows together, the seams will nest and it'll go together really nicely. But you can really see it coming together. You can see that like little, see what I was calling it a braid before? It kind of goes in and out, it weaves like a braid. The quilt top, well, minus the borders, all put together. So what I'm gonna do now is just kind of press it so that the seams are open. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I fucking ate with this quilt. It came out so good. I can't wait to show you the up close because it's insane. It's also crazy how quickly it came together. Okay, here's with the flash on. This purple is like popping in person. It is so bright. This one too. The blues, you can see how bright they are, but the purples are very bright. It looks like black in the video, but it's purple. Okay, I kind of forgot to record putting the border on, cutting the border and putting it on, but it's on. I did a blue inner border and a purple outer border. That's how we're looking. I'll show you tomorrow in the daylight.